Hello and welcome back to Our Home to Haven. Today I had to change the plans of what I was going to be shooting because I just got an email from our beef distributor, or the ranch near us, and they said that we would have our half a cow delivered on Wednesday. So that's 2 days from now. So I need to go down to the basement and make sure that my freezers are all cleared out. So I might be making some bone broth today and giving our neighbors some leftover stew beef. So come along, let's see what we can get done. So I need you guys not to judge me, please, because this is my basement. And I wanted to show you our setup first and the story behind why we have 3 deep freezers. So first, over there, we have like a 7 square foot, I think, deep freeze hot point. It still works. We got it for like $200 when we got a quarter of a cow, and we realized that was far too small for our large family. And now we put frozen fruits, vegetables, just random things in there. And I think there's a lot of stuff at the bottom of it that I can't remember what is underneath there. So I need to go through this winter time, clean it all out, and use what we have and clean and throw away what has been frostbite bitten. So next we got this stand freezer. As you can see, it stands up. And it's filled with a lot of my raw milk that I don't go through, frozen cheese, butter, and there's a ham hock down there, and there's some of my ground beef that I still haven't gone through, and some fat that I need to render into tallow. So this is while tall and convenient and easy to reach into, it's not excellent for large quantities of beef. It doesn't really work well at all. You can't fit much in there. Shelves are very shallow. There's nothing wrong with it if you aren't going to have a lot of food in there. However, we clearly still have a lot of food in there. And we ended up using the small chest freezer and this because we had gotten a half a cow and we barely fit it in these two and our freezer upstairs. So fast forward, when we got our third, or I think it was our third, yes, our third half of a beef, and we ended up getting this. Let me show you. We got this bad boy. It is a Kenmore. I think it's 13 square feet. I'm not sure. I have to figure that out. It fits a half a cow. It's 6 feet long, I think, 5 feet long, and about 2.5 feet tall or 3 feet tall. Now, what I didn't really want to get a chest freezer because it was difficult to get into, like I said, with that small chest freezer over there. However, hold on, pause. I'm taking a drink of coffee. It's been a long night. My dog had to poop like 3 times, and it's my fault because I gave him a lot of pumpkin yesterday. Anyways, don't let me forget my coffee up here. Actually, I'm gonna put it right here in this gun case. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this camera around and I'm gonna show you what I got. It was the most amazing thing. It's actually, before I open before I open the freezer, what I got is called a Freezer Max system. And let me show you, because I wanted to be able to use this entire space and not waste anything, and you go all the way to the bottom and not lose anything. So hold on. Okay, so this is our Freezer Max system. So the freezer obviously was by itself. The Freezer Max system came with these baskets, and they slide, the top layer slides on the lip of the freezer, as you can see. And then under here is a shelf that you put in a railing, and then there's a second railing down here, and you can slide. I'm trying to do this because I can't really, that's just me videoing. You can slide these back and forth and see. You can separate. And as you can tell, we have a lot of beef left. That's a lot of stew meat, but I am going to, it's not going to waste. We will be giving our neighbors some, and my family if they want any as well. So, and you can see it's empty down here, but this is amazing. So all of this I need to go through and see what I can process. I'm gonna actually try and make some beef stew out of these. This is cow tongue. I don't know how I feel about that. I haven't tried it yet. That's actually, I need to take this out because that is lard. Got some bones. And let's see what we have down here. We have short ribs. Oh, we have some filet down there. And we have some loin tip roast. Oh, I might make that tomorrow. And things of chuck steak. Our processor said that he really enjoyed having his steak, his chuck roast cut into steaks, and I don't know if that was my favorite thing or not, so I'm going to be taking some of this out and I'm going to be processing this into some bone broth. Okay, so I'm going to give this to my dog. He loves it. And I'm going to make some bone broth out of whatever bones I have left in here. Not many. I think I used most of them last year. So I am also going to start, it's okay, I'll still render down the tallow. Oh, wow. Wait, is this pork? Either way. So the first thing I always do is I roast my bones. I'm gonna put it at 400 and then I will roast it for a little while and then I'm gonna put it into my pressure cooker this time. I'm gonna go downstairs and get my fat. Okay, got my fat and I can actually put that in a smaller crock pot. And then I have about 25 pounds of assorted beef. Now, I know it seems like it's wasteful that we're not eating it. However, I'd rather have too much than too little. Plus, I gotta carry up like 7 flights of stairs. Anyways, I would rather have too much than too little because I can always bless others with our abundance. I'm gonna give them some stew beef. I've got these, and this is what I was talking about, the chuck steaks. Instead of a chuck roast, they put them into steaks. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to make these, so maybe they can find a better recipe, but this next order, I did not have them turned into steaks. And then I have about 10 pounds of ground beef, and I'm gonna bring that over to them. And then this is my beef fat that I'm gonna turn into tallow. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun processing day to get all this stuff ready to go. And now I think I need another crock pot because I got rid of the big one because it started flaking. And actually, I don't know if I want a crock pot anymore because I don't know. They're not as non-toxic as I think they are. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts? I need thoughts from other people that aren't my own because I tend to overthink things. But I'm gonna bring this next door, and I also have some more stew beef downstairs, and I might try my hand at canning beef stew. So that'll be kind of fun for like those days when I don't really feel like doing anything. And maybe try to make some make-ahead meals this week in the next 2 days. So we'll see. Okay, so for rendering tallow, it's super simple. I do the wet method, and all you do is, and you can either chop this up or put it through a mill or a beef grinder. I just put it in here, large chunks, and then I deal with the rest. I will take an immersion blender and blend it down. The impurities still are stuck out with this the way that I do. So it just takes a little longer for the fat to melt down. So this is actually a perfect size crock pot. Ew, that's really gross. And this? Let's see if he likes it. He likes it. So I'm gonna fill this with water, and then I'm gonna put about a tablespoon of salt in here, and then I'm gonna leave it on low until it melts. You don't wanna put it on too high because then it gets crispy, and then it has like a very beefy flavor no matter how many times you render it out. So I'm gonna fill this with water and put some salt in here. Give me 1 second. And what the salt does is when this solidifies after you have melted it down, the impurities will stick to the salt. I'm not sure what science is behind it, but this will separate and it'll be the fat on the top and the water underneath. So when you're done, you will have the water and it's gross, and you will take the fat out, and you will the water, you can just dump it out. Yeah, you do that. I do that a couple of times depending on what I'm using it for. If I'm using it for baking or cooking, I mean, I will only render it 1 or 2 times. But if I'm using it for like baking, like frying things, or if I'm making my moisturizer or deodorant, I want it to be white and clean and nothing stinky in it. So I will do this 2 or 3 times. So I'm gonna put it on low for 8 hours. It won't take 8 hours. And then I will give you a update and see what it looks like. I took the rest of my stew beef out, and I found a recipe from this book for beef tips and gravy. So this makes 5 1-quart jars. So I think it's gonna be delicious. Tonight we're gonna do fillets for dinner. And so, but it sounds bougie, like, ooh, I'm having a fillet tonight. No, listen, when you buy a half a cow or you buy a portion of a cow, the amount that I paid $4.50 a pound, I believe, plus $1 a pound processing. They just added that on this year, which it added about $400 onto it, which is still cheaper than most other local beef farmers in my area. And I'm okay with that. I'm getting quality meat. I know exactly what's in it. I know where they were raised, and it is more economical too. If you wanted to, just save up, you know, $25 until you have enough. Start with 1/4 of a cow, and you can save money, because if you think about it, this stew beef per pound was the same as that fillet that I have in there, or the prime rib that I have in my freezer downstairs that I also need to make. I would seriously consider, and I would always advocate. Plus, you know, you can talk to the rancher. He comes to our house and he's such a great person. Like, my husband really enjoys talking to him. I enjoy talking to him. They're just great people. Their farm is 50 miles away from here, so we can go visit whenever they want. They are now selling online. They're called Cottonwood Ranch. So if you want to look them up online, please feel free to do that and support them. I am literally 1 step removed from my food, from my beef at this point. So the closer you are to your food supply, I think the better off you are health-wise. So, plus, happy cows make happy beef, right?
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
I'm gonna thaw this out, and I'm gonna try to make these recipes between the next couple of days. So. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, buddy. This is what the tallow looks like. It's solid, and the water is underneath. So what I'm gonna do is get a knife and cut through this. And I didn't have room in my refrigerator, so I just stuck this outside because it got down to like 32 last night. And if you just leave this out, it will just like stay kind of soft, and that makes it really difficult to do this next spot. So you need to put it in your refrigerator or put it out cold and wrap it, so maybe animals don't get it. Oh, perfect. See, now what I'm going to do is make sure I dunk it back in the dirty water. Why is this so crumbly? I'm gonna take a knife And actually, I'll just do this here and scrape. And see all that come off. Oh my gosh. And then you can rinse this with cold water. So just go around and get, and I find it's okay if you take a bit off of that. Even some of the crumbly stuff, because it's not supposed to be crumbly, and I wonder if it's because it's old and I left it sitting in my freezer. So, and then you're gonna dump this water, and I'm gonna do the same with this one. I'm probably gonna render this down one more time because this water is pretty dirty. So once I render it a couple of times, the water in here ends up being less and less dirty. So there's a big chunk that fell in there. So I'm gonna do this all over again. Okay, so I've got my fat in here, and I didn't fill it up as much with water because honestly that doesn't really matter. It just needs to have something for the salt to do some sort of salt osmosis thing. So there's 3 or 4 cups under here, and then I'm gonna put the salt, and then I will start the beautification process again. Okay, so it's now Wednesday. My beef is going to be delivered, as you can see maybe in the corner right over there. I've got boxes and bags and coolers ready to take things downstairs. Normally, the guy who owns the ranch will load your freezer up for you. He'll take it downstairs. Unfortunately, my dog is not friendly sometimes. What we do is I fill boxes up. Usually we do it outside, but my husband's not here, so I'm gonna have him bring it inside, and we're just gonna fill these boxes up, and then I'll take it down to the basement, and then it's easy peasy lemon squeezy from there. What I'm going to be doing right now is actually, oh, don't bring that to the carpet. Okay, so why I waited until Wednesday is because I had ordered, I thought what I needed was a bigger stock pot or a bigger pressure cooker to make my bone broth. I found a tutorial online and it explained it perfectly, the use of pressure cookers, and I was gonna try it again, and I wanted to get an 8-quart, and I just ended up waiting an entire day to get a 6-quart that has a dial and Bluetooth. So, 1, I don't want Bluetooth that close to my food. I don't know, I could be paranoid. And 2, I don't need that much space. So I already have, you made a mess on the floor, sir. My dog took the celery leaves, over to the floor, and now they're just kind of sitting there. So the bones that I roasted Monday, I'm gonna stick in here, as many as I can. I don't know if I'm gonna get much out of that. So I'm gonna stick with the knuckles. And then anything with tendons on it is what I'm gonna do. Okay, there's max fill. Okay, so, and then I wanna put some onions in here. And then celery. And I have a bag of carrots that we need to get rid of. So put those in here. And I've got water filtering. And then I gotta wash my hands so I can put pepper in. I need pepper, peppercorn, about a tablespoon of salt. Okay, so fill that up. I think we're almost there. So I'm just gonna, let me plug it in first. I like to hear the beep. All right, let me see if I can get it right on the first try. Oh, I forgot garlic. Can't forget garlic. Sipping broth. Can't forget garlic. On. Close. Okay, high floor. Oh boy, this is gonna be wild. So I'm gonna put this on here for like 3 hours. And then naturally release. So I don't want the fat emulsified in with the soup. All right, I'm gonna give my dog the rest of these bones. So, okay, so this is the second rendering. It is a little soft because I didn't have it outside as long. Are you ready to get the milk for you? It's heavy. So I grabbed my crock pot and I have some jars. And there are a couple of things that you can do, and I'm gonna probably do 2 different ways for different purposes. So I am going to take some of these out, probably take half of this out, wrap it in saran wrap and put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in my freezer. And that should last for about a year to do whatever cosmetics or any extra baking or cooking need that I need for that. And then the others, I'm going to make it more accessible, is I'm going to put hot melted fat in here. I'm gonna melt it in the crock pot, and it's kind of gonna boil hopefully out all of the water. And then I will ladle it in here and put these caps and the rims on it, and then they'll seal that way. These are shelf stable once they've been rendered, so you can do that as long as there's no water in it. The water will make it go bad. But also, once I do this, I like to keep it in my refrigerator or freezer. So that's just me. These won't expand. I mean, this won't expand when it's frozen, but I always keep the lid off while it's freezing, and then once it's completely frozen, I will put the lid back on and then just take it out as needed. I put it above here, my oven, and then I just scoop it out, use it as, you know, a greasing agent in any of my food. And that's the fat. And when I make, if you really want like a very savory egg, use tallow. So, and yes, this is the 3rd time I've had this crock pot out and washed it 3 times. I'm so proud of myself. So let's get this bad boy out. And as you can see, this water is significantly cleaner than last time. It was almost a brownish color the first time we rendered this. So, in tallow, you can also, I've learned I've made soap with tallow. And you can put it in your kerosene lamps if you want. And see, look, it's still a little bit, there's a little bit of crumbly on here. Oh no. But I'm just gonna stick 2 of these in here so they'll melt down. I know it seems very redundant, but I wanna make sure there's no air or water in these jars. Yeah, and there's a lot of water in these. I might just only do 1/4 of this saved, and then just can the rest. And I need to figure out why. I wonder if that's just from the salt, and I could probably just scrape the rest of it all off. You can fry with this, and it's a delicious fry oil. However, if you do that, you do need to make sure that this is completely dry and void of liquid, because it will pop and it will be scary. So I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna dry it off too. I'm gonna leave it to sit, and hopefully my dog doesn't eat it. And it looks like there's a lot of fat going into this water, but I might just save this, and then actually if you wanted to, you can put this in like an ice cube tray, melt it down a little bit, put it in an ice cube tray, and then you can use it to season your cast iron skillets. So I'm gonna get this started, and then I will come back when I'm about to fill these jars. It won't fill all 6 of these, but I just wanted to make sure that I had enough, so, because I didn't want to go back downstairs. It's time to ladle the fat, or the lard, nope, tallow, into my glass jars. And I wish I didn't have a black plastic spoon. I need to get another ladle that's not black plastic, so Turn that off. And we have 3 jars of tallow. I'm gonna wash these real quick, and then 2. I have to go downstairs. We'll see. I'll try. So, there's the tallow, and when it dries or cools, it will be a more beautiful white. And there are some more impurities in here. I probably could have used cheesecloth as well, but what can you do? I might put these outside after they cool to just cool them down quicker, but I think I'm going to start my either Swedish meatballs or beef tips and gravy. So I am melting 2 tablespoons of butter, and I cut 6 cups of onions. It hurt my eyes a lot. And then I'm just going to be sauteing those and then adding the meat. Then I should be able to can them. I have the pressure canner going, and then just look. Just got our delivery. Thank you for joining me on this adventure these last few days, trying to make space for my beef and also for learning something new with me. It was really fun. And this is the beef tips that I made out of beef stew beef. And I made 5 quarts all together. I'm so excited about that. I'm gonna wipe these down with vinegar because they're a little bit greasy right now. And this is my tallow. It's sealed actually, so I'm not gonna open this. I'm gonna put this, I might just put these on my shelves right now, but look at how beautiful that is. I have 2.5 of these, so actually here. I'm gonna give this one to my mother-in-law because she's gonna be here this week. But look at how beautiful that is. You just scrape that off, stick it in your skillet whenever you wanna make anything really. Use it in place of olive oil, of butter, whenever you want just a little bit more of a, I don't know, I would say umami flavor. My hair's doing something wild. Yeah, a bit of a umami flavor is definitely for this. It's very rich. But this, I have 5 quarts of beef tips, and then I will have the sauce and I can make gravy when I decide to pull these out. And then this is my bone broth that I made and the old pressure cooker because I didn't see any use. I'm gonna return that one because there's no point in buying another one if it's the exact same thing. And I kind of want to scrape off a little bit and see how, oh. I want to see how gelatinous this is. So, oh, perfect. And I will be, yay, success. I will be sipping this week. And oh my gosh, guys, this is so beautiful. You have no idea how I've inconsistently made bone broth. But look at that. Look at that jiggle. So, thank you guys. And after my coffee, I'm going to enjoy a cup of bone broth today with some salt. And thank you for joining along. And I hope that I have maybe convinced you to order some beef in bulk. And I thank you. And thank you to Cottonwood Ranch because they are our beef supplier. I'm not affiliated in any way. I've just been buying their beef for the last 5 or 6 years. So thank you guys and have a great week.